Hello, everybody. Intuitive Tuesday. So, on my walk, I kept getting these messages about the positive and negative feedback loop. And I remember studying that in basic anatomy and being fascinated by just how the body works. So, you have to have a positive and a negative feedback loop because the positive enhances, the negative it slows it down, buffers, right? So what exactly does that do? Well, it balances your hormones. It balances the proteins within the body. It balances the regulatory system, the temperature of the body, creating what? Equilibrium, balance, and stability. What a concept. What a concept. Now, this also goes on with, electromagnetics. It also goes on with, things like your electrical currents, your batteries. Everything has a positive and a negative, right? One is not better than the other. One is critical to the other. So while everything can't be all positive, there has to be some negatives. We've just been taught that negatives are bad. And they're not. They're lessons learned, just like positive lessons are learned, okay? So that you can make better choices. Now, I really was thinking about, how does this play on our emotions? Well, our emotions go up, they go down, they go up, they go down, because you can't stay high all the time. You can stay in happiness. You can stay in love, but you can't stay high all the time. The body has to regulate itself. It has to regulate. All of the organs are not functioning at high performance at the same time every day. They're not at the same time. The kidneys come on before you wake up. The bladder comes on before you wake up. They slow down again around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. Every bit of your organs has a timing because everything cannot be revving high at the same time. You would be in total burnout. You would be in total insanity because it has to self-regulate with the positive negative feedback loops. This is critical. So I want you all to be aware that polarity exists in 3D, it exists in 4D, and it will exist in 5D. There will be polarity. There will be, what everybody wants to consider the polarity of the goodies and the baddies. I don't like to label it. I don't. Because if we're so concerned with who is white, who's not, who's dark, who's not, who's doing what with what, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because really the most important thing is, what are you? What are you regulating as? What is your positive feedback loop? Where do you want to be on the scale of polarity, equilibrium, homeostasis, which is hormonal whole balance of the body, right? So when we're going outside of ourselves all the time and wondering who's doing what and how they're doing it and are they going to use it for good and who's our savior and so on and so on, that's continuing to happen. Everybody wants to know what EM's doing. Everybody wants to know what DT is doing. I forgot his middle initial. Everybody wants to know what everybody else is doing in order to know, they're part of the strategic planning. The only strategies you need to be concerned with is your own positive, negative feedback loop. Your polarity within yourself and how you're going to regulate, bob, weave, adapt, pivot in your daily life. That is the most important thing. because all of this regulates the heartbeat and the heart center. And when you're really, really in sync with yourself, you become in sync with the universe. You become in sync with the soul's mission, the embodiment of the God source self of all that you are, all that I am. And right now, a lot of lessons are coming up about finding your voice, setting your boundaries, regulating yourself, self-regulation, a lot of things we don't have control over. So that's why the self-regulating, the balancing of equilibrium is the magic key right now. Because it doesn't matter who's wearing a white hat, a dark hat, who's a goodie, who's a baddie. It doesn't matter. It's what are you? What are you? And then if things get revealed to you, how strong are you? Are you equal in your balancing? Are you there fully to respond in a way that is not reactive? So this stuff is super duper important, and I want you to give it some thought. And if you need some assistance and some coaching, I want you to be able to reach out to my website. My email's in there, and it'll always be down below in the description. In the meantime, I'd really like to ask each and every one of you to assist me in my algorithms, because this is teamwork makes the dream work. Please like this video. Please subscribe, hit the bell to all. Please leave me a comment. Feel free to share and post this video out. That is another example of positive negative feedback loop. Because everything has a rhythm and an algorithm, and everything has a high and everything has a low and everything has a balance. Okay? And that's really where we want to focus ourselves, and balancing our heart centers, our microbiome in our gut, balancing the brain, balancing inflammation, because everything that we're doing right now is very inflamed, creating havoc and throwing us out of homeostasis and equilibrium. So step into here. Make this the difference today. Bless everything and everyone. And know that when stuff comes along, good, bad, or indifferent, you're steady. You're steady. And again, I can help you with that. So please feel free to reach out. All right, remember you're living, loving light. You're living, loving light. And these choices are yours. And how you're going to balance yourself throughout the day. And that requires regulating yourself consciously and digging through the unconscious. Not allowing the unconscious to govern you, the pre-programming to govern you. Your guiding force is to get into your consciousness, resolve the unconscious, release it, send it back to the light. All right, so if I can help any of you, it is my honor and my pleasure.